PHLY. Sixers beat Maven. He's the best. My brother, Devon Givens, joins us.
What's up, man?
Big day. Let's see if it happens.
Let's hope so. It is a big day, big game. So 7 games left on the season, and Sixers are right now still fighting with the Miami Heat right in front of them, Indiana in the 6th spot. So we'll see if they can, do what they need to do to get the big fella back on the floor. And if I was counting 7 games left from now tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder to the Brooklyn Nets, the final game on that Sunday. It's about 14 days in total. I doubt that he plays the back-to-back, Memphis and San Antonio Saturday, Sunday. So that's a lot of time, plus the ramp-up that he's already been doing, as Nick Nurse and has been talking about 5-on-5s. Wojnarowski reported that yesterday, some 5-on-5s, the one-on-ones that he was doing prior to the basketball activities, getting back to it. So that's a pretty good amount of time to get his legs back underneath him, of course, with the knee and the meniscus, and then just working out, getting back into that game shape. Nothing is like playing in the game. Yes, the simulated practices and how they have to do it. But I'm very curious to see what the minutes would look like. As we talked about it the other day, the minute restriction, should they try to push that on him, we know that's going to be difficult because of who he is. No, I'm not coming out the game. But
I'm not coming out the game.
Exactly. But I'm really curious. And again, we just simply talked about, hey, if he can just get some underneath him. Ideally, you would like that game, that play-in game to be played here in Philadelphia. But if not, going to Miami I'm not fearful of the Miami Heat. Now, Jimmy Butler's Jimmy Butler in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I'm not fearful of that team. Should he come back, having these new players with him, that's probably enough time to get things, to right the ship a little bit, if you will, to play in that play-in game. And if you lose it, worst case scenario, you still have one more game against that 9-10 opponent, Atlanta or Chicago.
So a couple things. One, right now he's listed as out on the injury report, but come shoot around, it's completely up to Joel. I'm told it's just right now, as we know, it's all up to Joe and how he feels, and he could make that decision coming up. I think it probably makes sense in knowing Joel for his like we do. Mm-hmm. I think we kind of can read him pretty well. Yep. It makes sense. Tonight's TNT.
Nationally televised, baby.
It's that big stage, OKC, Joel's back.
Yep.
Like, that feels right to me. And then also you got Thursday's Jimmy Butler. So you got you got your first game under your belt.
Correct.
Then you can go and play Miami, and it kind of makes a lot of sense that he actually plays tonight.
Exactly the point I made when we did the game Sunday against Toronto. We talked about it post game. We had our watch along with everybody, and that was fun. And we discussed just that. Coming back, all right, he was on a 2-game trip with them, and he did not play. Toronto, we thought, all right, maybe there's a chance that the whole thing going on with Toronto, they can't stand him, he doesn't like them, that whole thing.
Actually, I was glad just because of the history.
Yeah.
Even though nobody's there.
Nobody's there.
But
Siakam's not there.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
Just to hit, it's like, some teams have just that bad kind of
juju.
mojo.
Bad juju.
Yeah.
But no, it played out perfectly. Nationally televised game, 7:30 start. He's back. And everything leading up to pregame is going to be discussing, is he going to play? Because he's going to go through his pregame workout, and they're going to see if he's able to do it. He'll take it all the way up to the minute like he always does, and he'll tell them that he's ready to go. And it's perfect. And the buildup for it all is right. Go through that game, a very good opponent in the Oklahoma City Thunder right at the top of the West. But then, to your point, as we said again, going against Miami where that game counts. This is very important for the tiebreaker for that 7-8. Should everything play out for the Sixers and the Heat, identical record, you need this game on Thursday night to give you that edge, if you will, to make sure that you host that 7-8 matchup in the play-in here in Philadelphia, not in Miami.
I will say this, because I was skeptical about it, but the play-in, it works.
It works. I didn't like it either. Now, look, it has worked. We've seen it now
It
for a few times.
creates another level.
It does, but you didn't need it. It was
I thought. Listen,
it was just something else for them to do to add to the whole thing of the excitement, the eyeballs, the money.
Totally.
Get that extra extra
I
2-3
always looked at
games.
it like it was junky.
Yeah.
You know that word junky? Like
Yeah.
you just junked it up. Like too much. Like over the top.
Kind of like
over the top.
Kind of like the midseason tournament. I didn't like it at first. It was entertaining. I'll give them that.
The problem though with the midseason tournament is it comes toward the teeth of it's too early and it's the middle of football, like toward the crescendo of the NFL season.
Yeah. But it was
like who's paying attention to it?
I did.
Well, no, I mean other than
other than
geeks,
yeah,
losers like you and me.
Yeah.
Like that's just what it is. Like we pay attention to all that stuff.
Yeah.
But from a league standpoint, you're better off doing something like that after NFL.
I don't disagree, but is it too close to All-Star going into the All-Star
I would
break?
replace All-Star with that. Like, have the All-Star, build it into it.
I hear you.
There's something you could do with it. It's too early.
And then give them a break.
Yes.
Okay, I got you.
You know what I mean?
I
like,
got you.
There's a way to incorporate the kind of how you can figure it out. Like,
That's what they get paid for.
Right.
Exactly.
No, I love all this. I still think they messed up with the schedule going back.
Well, you like the start in December thing, and I don't.
Yeah, you don't. Know.
First of all, I like the November start when I was a kid, and then they pushed it to earlier in October. Now, and again, if I'm sitting there saying that I like it where it is, who am I to get mad at starting 2 weeks before that? But I just like I like the November start.
You know why I loved it? Because being the loser that I am, I like having multiple sports. So, come July and August, it's just baseball, right? And I love baseball, but I like variety.
Yeah.
So having the NBA and the NBA crescendo, August is sucks. Right, because dog days of baseball.
Yeah.
Camp you love early, but then you get tired of it. You can't wait. Preseason stinks, and you can't wait for the season to start. So now you have it like an NBA. And nowadays, summertime, none of it matters. Prime time, like it used to be that you could never do something like that in the summer, but now you're going to still have an audience. People watch wherever they want.
So why not the NHL instead of the NBA? Is that more of a winter sport where you say that's more of a winter sport, so you wouldn't want to push that one?
Listen, you could push either one. I don't care. As long as I get another spot. I just think the NBA, Summer Olympics.
I got you, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, summer game.
Yeah.
In that sense.
So when would the summer league be?
August? You would have to change all the. I mean, the whole calendar gets moved.
I know.
All that stuff. All right, let's get back to because I can meander on this stuff all day.
Big fella.
And the big news of the day is presented by TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Check out TrueMark.com/PHLY or stop into your local branch to learn more about the credit union difference at TrueMark Financial today. All right, so let's figure out. He comes back.
Sure.
The flow. What's your optimum rotation? How do you kind of play it? Let's fast forward. Let's say all goes well. He's integrated.
Sure.
Now we're in the playoffs. How would you play it? Would you play him the entire first quarter? Remember how that was going? How would you use him? I think he's better on longer chunks than short bursts.
So I don't think Nurse changes anything up unless the minute thing of he gets a little fatigued early on coming back. So if we're pushing
and that's something
and
you're
fast
always
forward
going to watch.
Right. If you're going to fast forward to the playoffs like you just asked, though, Nurse likes to run him that first 12, that first quarter. That's what he's going to get. I don't think he's going to change that at all. And again, I'm very curious once they do get into the postseason if he does come back a little bit sooner. If he comes back before that 6 minute mark in that second quarter once they get into the postseason, because that was normally that number that Nurse likes to lean on for Embiid to get back. So I would say that he would still be in that 12-minute first quarter run, does not come out if we're in the playoffs there. That's how he's going to look at. So then you're also talking about getting to the starting lineup a little bit. Kyle Lowry, I think, is going to stay in the starting lineup. I think he's going to be the backcourt mate with Maxey going forward. Then I think...
And I like that.
At first I didn't because I thought...
like it. I
like it, But my question is, because Nurse has been forced to play Lowry more than expected because of the Melton injury, other people being out, Tobias Harris at times, Tyrese Maxey also being out a little bit, I don't want him to overextend Kyle Lowry, especially the way, look, all due respect, Campaign has played some decent minutes when he's been given extended minutes. Then you have Buddy Hield coming off the bench because I'm leaving him on the bench too. So now you're talking about two guards, one in which Buddy Hield, of course, we know, we were waiting to see him with Joel Embiid. Second, which I've been talking about since Campaign was traded for Patrick Beverley coming from Milwaukee, Campaign has a decent amount of playoff experience in that deep run when we were with the Phoenix Suns. He started for Chris Paul.
Yeah, when Paul got hurt.
When Paul missed the last month and a half, he
during
started.
That stretch.
Yeah, and the wins, they were still there,
good.
and he was really good.
He's a terrific backup one.
Right, and he can score. He can run a team, and defensively, you lose a lot there, but he's going to give effort. And scoring-wise, that's going to work out. But that being said, that looks like and Nick Batum is going to stay in the starting lineup with me. I like the way Kelly Oubre has been playing, but I think I want that offensive punch with Buddy Hield coming off the bench and Campaign, and that's going to fluctuate of how they have certain players on the floor with defensively. It's not going to be all that bad, I don't think, out there, especially with the big fella back there.
Well, think about it, right? Like,
and that's like 8 right there in your rotation, and Paul Reed coming off the bench and makes 9.
Yeah, let's keep it at 8. So, I mean,
he's had some decent playoff moments.
Yeah, but like, you really count on him like
15.
But listen, my only beef with Paul Reed is just like knowing the game, like
sometimes he can get a little lost. Yeah,
you head's got to be in the game, man. For playoff moments, like I've seen some. I mean, he's gifted and he can do certain things, but I need your head in the game.
He's been much better this season.
Yeah.
And in the playoffs last season, I thought he was really good.
He was all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'll listen.
No, I know.
I always keep him on it.
And look, we're picking.
And I like the kid.
Oh, yeah. 100%. He's a great guy.
I don't know if he's ready right this moment to give me X amount of minutes, like important minutes.
15 is what I give him.
Yeah.
Especially if the big fella's back. And then you go small ball, and sometimes Batum's going to be at the 5. So I'm with you.
Now, and I love having the offense on the bench. Like, to me, the whole point of the rotation will be to stagger Joe and Maxey.
Yeah.
Right? Because when one's on the floor, the other one gets his rest, and vice versa. And I think it's key. And that's where Buddy, and even Oubre.
Yep.
But Oubre could slide in. Oubre and Tobias could slide in with Maxey, and I want to see Buddy and Joe.
Interesting. Well, I think you would get that just because
Buddy, Joe, Payne.
Because Maxey will come out around 6 minutes in that first.
Yeah.
He'll get that 6 minutes of rest unless there's a special situation where Nurse will bring him back by the end of the first. He'll carry the second quarter until Embiid comes back. So Hield will have that first sub between he and Oubre, that first sub for Tyrese Maxey and then Kyle Lowry, that point of the whole thing. So I think you would get your wish there.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the smart way to attack it. I like that rotation.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree.
I mean, Buddy and Joe, I mean, it's like that's
where we go with the JJ Redick piece, the Seth Curry piece of those gravity type of shooters, especially with those pin downs where we watch JJ Redick, specifically JJ Redick. And Seth Curry had career years too, but my favorite was the JJ Redick part where he would come off those baseline screens, those pin downs there, those dribble handoffs, right? And he's curling and he's pulling up there for those jumpers. Now, they're going to extend back a little bit more with that three-point line for Buddy Hield, like Seth Curry, but the way that has the potential to work and then the playmaking that we did see with Buddy Hield in those first few games, if he's able to get that back with Joel Embiid now being that role man and not Reed or Bamba, then I think there's a potential for a lot of success in that way. And if it works that way, where all the attention, of course, is going to shift over to Joel Embiid and that coverage, then Buddy Hield is going to get some layup opportunities and some runners there at the rim.
I got to tell you, brother, that thing excites me.
No, it really is.
That's why. Is the reason why I want to
That's
come
why
back.
He was traded for.
Yes.
You bring him here for that reason.
Yes.
And that is why you bring him back.
Yes.
Because you have a chance. Whenever he's back there, like we said a couple of weeks ago, when I know you let legs on, but when he was on the ALLCITY with Adam Mars on the NBA show, and he talked about it, Joel Embiid comes back, they're going to be right there in that conversation once again of contention because that's how important he is. We've seen it. They were 29-13 at one point on the floor with him before the Golden State injury. Since then, look at their record now. They're 40-35 because the guy has not been on the floor. Think about that.
I know. And you have so many shots, right? You only have so many shots at the prize.
Right. And he's still in his prime, so you put him on the floor.
Yeah. You can't worry about, stuff happens. I mean, that's just that's his life.
Yeah.
But doctors say you're clear. Doctors feel comfortable. You're not, playing, a game of risk. You got to take a shot, man.
You have to.
Who knows? And that's the one thing about, listen, obviously Boston is playing incredible ball.
Fantastic.
I don't know. I mean, are they the 96 Bulls?
No.
You know what I mean? I mean, look, and Milwaukee, you look who the coach is. I expect them to play. I do. I mean, listen, you got Dame and Giannis. I mean, and that supporting cast. I mean, they're going to be nasty. But I keep going back to it. You got a really good coach. I'm anxious to see Nurse in the playoffs, too.
I am, too. Again, of course, he's had his success. He's had some really good runs, the best being the championship year, but he's had some other success as well. So I am very interested to see what he does. He finally gets his team back. They have their different playbook from what it is now to what it is supposed to be when Joel Embiid is on the floor. So I am interested to see how he plays everything once he has his full complement of players, minus the Melton, because I can't count on that, and I can't really count on the Covington part either. So minus those two players, having his full complement of what it is in Embiid, even at 80%, is still a darn good. We're talking about the MVP here. Now, he's not going to give you 35, and you shouldn't expect a 35 on average. He can still give you 35 on any particular night, but having him back even less than 100%, but on his way back as the arrows continue to point up, I'll take their chances.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, right? I can't wait to watch him. I miss him. I miss watching him play.
It's a different view, yeah.
It
is.
And listen, just as a
the viewing
basketball
is different,
fan,
yes.
Dude, like you watch him play, like it's so incredible. Yep. It just is.
It is.
And we take it for granted. Like I understand it's hard to build around a big these days. I get that to win a title, but there are way too many people that just want to trade him. And have wanted to trade him. And they'll say, look, see, I was right. He's hurt again. You know how many times I got that text? I was right. I told you if they should have traded him. And I keep going back to the same thing. For what? You never get anything close to equal value. And you're gonna it's as we know going through the process, none of it is a lock. I don't know. I feel like if you have a chance, if you can have a chance to win, which they do, then you keep that window open.
So it's tough to build around a big. Technically, there are only two that matter in the NBA.
Wemby.
Well, he's the third now, but the two, Jokic and Embiid, they've built the right way, clearly, to win a championship. I don't think.
You don't view him as a traditional?
No, because I think he is a 4. But in today's league,
he is a 4. But
he is a 5.
Yeah.
I still don't. He won, so I give him that. But I don't look at him as. I don't look at him. But I never looked at him as a. I never looked at him as a winner.
Yeah, I know.
That's all. I'm talking.
He's a great player.
Now,
though.
Joel Embiid still have. Yes, he is. Joel Embiid has to still prove himself as a winner, also. But all right, we can get into all that, but. When you have a chance and you have a player like Embiid and Jokic, yes, you take every possible chance that you have. That window is still open. There's no reason to gut the team. You get a lot of draft picks back, but as much as people get on the people in the front office, how do you feel about them putting that together a team to start from scratch, to build back into that contender, and how long is that going to take? When you have it right now, you exhaust all possibilities that you have currently in the moment to do just that. And I think that's what you have to do right now with Joel Embiid. And he has a really good team. Then there's the questions of who the third best player is, who the fourth best player, and all that, where that is defined with the Nuggets. Aaron Gordon, and then Michael Porter Jr., whatever order you put them behind Jokic and Murray. And then you have the supporting cast, KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, proven winner already twice with the Lakers and the Nuggets for what that is. And then you go on down the line. Bruce Brown, what he did before he got the big contract in the offseason, are those there with the Sixers? That is the question. I don't know that to be true because Tobias Harris, supposed to be a third guy, that is not defined anymore with Tobias Harris. Is it Buddy Hield, Kelly Oubre? Who is that? That's where these moments are going to be big to find out who those players are in these roles to see if, with the big fella and Maxey on the floor, if all of that stuff starts to line up.
Well, certain things would appear to make sense. So Buddy Hield appears to be, which would be a good fit.
Appears,
right?
Yes.
Like it's all, if you think about it, spacing, all that stuff, what they do, the fact they can spread the floor, you can shoot it, all that stuff would appear that you could make that case. So now you get a chance to watch it. Hey, well, I got you.
Yeah.
Did you watch Iowa LSU last night?
You know I did. I watched both games.
Yeah. So I was at the Flyers game. So tell me about, Caitlin, 41, 9 threes.
Yep. 11 assists, 11, 12 assists, whatever it was. She was phenomenal. First, I'll say this. First half, they went on their run to begin the game, and then LSU, Angel Reese just took over. And
she had, 20 boards before she got hurt? 19
boards before she got, not before she got hurt, but she was hooping, and then she sprained her ankle.
Right.
So it kind of took away from some of the things that she was able to do because it looked like early on Iowa had their, and basketball is a game of runs, and Iowa came back and made their run. Caitlin Clark was tremendous. And their defense was really good where they were forcing her to turn the ball over. She was missing some shots there. That happens because of how they were playing defense on her. Then after Angel Reese got hurt, second half, they were tied 45-45, I think it was, at the break. Second half, Caitlin Clark, I don't know what Haley Van Lith, and she's a really good player after she transferred from Louisville to go to LSU. She's a really good player. But some of her defense was questionable. She was going under the screen. She's like Steph Curry in women's college basketball. You can't go under the screen. I don't know what the defensive. I don't know what I don't know what they were doing defensively, telling her go under the screen. And then you talk about having Johnson. Why? She can't be on there, Flau'jae Johnson, because she can't be on it because you don't want her to get in any foul trouble because she's such a good scorer. I think she had 25 last night. She was really good. So their defense was so questionable. And you can't give Caitlin Clark that kind of space to get those shots off. She shoots from 35 feet from the basket. What are you doing? And then she got hot. And then she's playing again in these pick and roll coverages where she's making these perfect pocket passes. And she probably should have had 15 and 16 assists. They were missing some layups there too. That's how good she was. And again, for Angel Reese to get hurt the way she did, she couldn't move the same way offensively to get the buckets that she was. Still grabbed 19 boards. I thought she was tremendous. But this was Caitlin Clark's moment. Last year was LSU. Last year was LSU.
Well, she had to.
And Angel Reese this year was
you got to step up tonight. And she did.
She did. She dropped the 40.
Yeah.
She hung 40 on that defense, man, and she was really, really good. Now I'm very curious because Paige Beckers coming back from the ACL and still be as good as she is. Now this is the matchup in the Final Four. That's going to be fun. Yeah. And then Gino Auriemma never recruited Caitlin Clark, and that was her dream school, never came after. So I can't wait to see what she does, like a little stick it to Gino Auriemma in this Final Four. So that's going to be fun too.
Yeah, it'll be pretty awesome.
And then, of course, Dawn in South Carolina.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. It's good stuff, man. Really
and look, man, as much as we watch basketball, and I remember in our previous spot, I would talk about it then because of South Carolina, because of what you saw with LSU. Then Paige Beckers coming in as a freshman. I was excited to see her. AZ Fudd with her. She has another ACL, so that's unfortunate. But to see women's college basketball for what it is, and I watch the WNBA. I'm a nerd like that. I was talking about, we already know that ALLCITY sends their basketball teams to Summer League. I want to go see the Aces when we go to Las Vegas. You know what I mean? So I hope people are watching these games and watching how fun the basketball is with women's college basketball and when WNBA gets there, because they have so much talent.
They do. And,
so much talent.
And you look at, fundamentally, the basketball is really strong.
It has to be because they don't have the same type of athleticism. Right. No disrespect.
But when you see the ball move like that,
man.
and then you see just perfect form, rising up, like open shots. The ball just moves.
Yeah, it just pops, yeah.
I mean, that's fun to watch. That's why the game's a beautiful game. When you see it played with like supreme ball movement, we get tired of just, it's always pick and roll and like that's what it is. But when you actually see the ball just move, the game's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is, man. It's fun basketball. They're really talented. The shooting is really good. The passing is crisp because it has to. But then when you have some defense as well, like Angel Reese, there was this pass that Caitlin Clark made, and she was trying to snap it quickly to the top of the key to her teammate. Angel Reese read that thing, boom, going the other way, layup. Again, this was during that run in that first half. But they have to be on top of it. They have to be sharp with what they do, and it's really fun. And I love the NIL part too, man, because they start to get paid, and it's really cool to see them. Yeah,
it's awesome.
Like brother, 6 of them have sneaker deals, man.
How about that?
It's great.
I know.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah,
the whole thing's a lot of fun. It makes a lot of fun.
It is.
My brother, the great Devon Givens, baby.
Back tonight after hopefully Joel Embiid's return post game.
See the Sixers All PHLY show starring that man, Devon Givens. And of course, Derek Bodner, Kyle Newbeck, who also do an amazing job.
We all silly like the mayor.